So I know I've said a few times on my channel that I'm not a big Vox guy. It's not an amp that I gravitate towards when I'm using the Quad Cortex. But recently, John Cordy did a great video building out some great Vox tones on his Fractal, and I really liked the sounds he was getting, and I wanted to see if I could replicate that on the Quad Cortex. So if you've seen that video, his preset was called Killer Vox, so I've just named it JC Killer Vox. This will be on my Cortex Cloud account for you to download and play with, and I'll link to his video in the description below, so you can go check that out. It's a great video, and I find it really useful, even if you don't have a Fractal. If you have any kind of modeling device, you can often replicate what someone's doing on a Fractal or a Line 6 or a Quad Cortex on one of the other devices. So I've mimicked the setup that John Cordy had on his Fractal preset, and what we've got is we've got 8 scenes, really 4 main scenes. One's an AC15, one's a AC30 top boost that's kind of in a crunchy tone, AC30 top boost in kind of a clean tone, and then an AC30 Cranked. And then he had 4 other scenes where he's taking each one and putting a drive pedal in front of those. He was using a Zen drive, and there's not that model on the Quad Cortex. But the Zen drive, if you look at its history, was meant to replicate the sound of a Dumble. And so what I'm doing is I'm using a capture that I created of the Vox Silk drive, which is meant to mimic kind of a Dumble kind of tone. So I figured, one, it's a Vox device, so we're kind of keeping it all in the family here. And the Silk drive is doing a similar kind of thing, and then it's trying to replicate that kind of Dumble-y kind of thing. So let's start off with the kind of the basic structure of the preset. We're going to start on this clean setting. And so I kind of use John's settings as a template here. And I've got it volume a little over 3, rolling back the bass a little bit, tone cut all the way off, which is something new. I usually wouldn't do that, but that's what he was doing, and I wanted to try it out. I've got the boost set to cool, and the output is pushed up a little bit just because this amp tends to be pretty quiet at this volume level. And then what I'm doing for cabinets is I tried both of the Vox cabinets that come with the Quad Cortex, and I couldn't settle on one, so I decided I'd just run them in parallel and we'll run both. So you can see here we have the 2x12 UK AC3065. Again, mimicking John's Fractal preset, we're using a condenser mic. I also have a ribbon running over here. And then we've got the UK AC30 GB69, again with a condenser mic and a ribbon. And on the back end, we've just got a tape delay and some plateless reverb. So for today's video, I'm using a Strat style guitar. It's a pretty bright guitar. It's got a humbucker in the bridge. And right now I'm on the neck. Let's hear what this clean tone sounds like. So a nice clean tone if I use the in-between position on the guitar instead. So a nice spanky clean tone. I think it works pretty well. If we hit that with the Silk drive, so a nice little edge of breakup kind of tone. I don't know that it's sounding exactly like John was getting from his Fractal, but I think it still sounds pretty good. The other one we have is we've got an AC15 here with a little more volume on it, so a little more gain. If I hit the bridge pickup, you can hear it's a good amount different. We can hit that with the Silk as well. And then here, we've got the same C30 top boost, but we're giving it a good amount more volume, so more gain. and I turn the bass up a little bit and the treble up a little bit, and we're getting a little more rhythm crunch. It's kind of nice if I put it into a second position. So kind of a nice rhythmy tone. You can kick that with the crunch as well. I hit the bridge pickup. So again, I don't know that it's sounding exactly like John was getting out of his Fractal, but I think these tones are sounding pretty good. And then if we go to the cranked, one of the differences you'll see here is we've switched to the hot boost. And obviously we've got the volume cranked a little bit more. Not all the way up, not quite as high as John had. I think his was more around 8, a little above 8. But I think 7.5, it works pretty well. And then it also works good with the silk. Here's the AC30 Cranked on its own. And then if you hit the silk in front of that, I put it on the neck pickup. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the preset. It's not quite getting the same tones that John was getting out of the Fractal. Some of that may come down to the different IRs. Obviously, the amp models are different. I may play around with this to see if I can get some better sounds if I'm using the matchless, which are kind of still in that Vox realm. But overall, I think these are pretty good tones. I'm not sure it's converted me to head towards the Vox models when I'm looking to create a new preset. So again, I'll put this on my Cortex Cloud account. Feel free to download it, play around. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.